As part of the 2 million people who filled the capital, many camped overnight to gain places around the Queen Victoria Memorial Monument to witness this moment. When it all got too much, mourners tear up as the Queen's coffin goes by. Image, Reuters. Up until a few minutes before the funeral began, the mood was one of a quietly expectant jollity, not of solemnity. People were delighted to have found their spot with a good-humoured hubbub. The sound of strangers making friendly conversation burbled around the monument. Then an electrifying moment. After hours of waiting, the most exquisitely beautiful choral music soared from speakers nearby, as it was from Westminster Abbey when the state funeral began. It was an intensely moving moment as the choir's recitation of the sentences brought home to the crowd the true reason for their presence. People became silent, straightened, heads bowed and clasped hands together. Couples linked arms and people listened intently. The overcast morning had been brightening since before the service started, and after the recitation of the Lord's Prayer the sun at last broke through. The 2-minute silence was dutifully observed, with the only sound the calls of geese overhead and the plaintive cry of a small child in St. James' Park. As the national anthem was played, some among the crowd joined in and the sun strengthened, leading people to begin removing their coats. A police officer struggles to hold it in whilst on duty. Image, Getty. Minutes later a thunderclap as the first min-relayed ute gun of the King's Troop Royal Horse Artillery, a few hundred meters away in Hyde Park, signalled the procession was on its way. The crowd was transfixed by the sight of the hand-drawn gun carriage with Her Majesty's orb and sceptre glinting in the sunlight atop her coffin as it arrived 30 minutes after the head of the procession at 1:04 p.m. The carriage circled the monument as it was drawn in front of Buckingham Palace and slowly exited onto Constitution Hill. Emma Giles, 33, and her husband Adam, 34, were with daughters Macy, 9, Ava, 6 and niece Freya Clegg, 11, from Snodland, Kent. Air conditioning contractor Adam said, "We were so lucky, the last people allowed into the viewing area at the Queen Victoria Monument. The procession was an incredible sight, a day the kids will remember for the rest of their lives." Macy said, "It was very sad when the Queen went by." Retired Royal Regiment of Fusiliers Corporal Philip Downey, 54, who left the Army in 1995, kept a professional eye on the performance of the military parade as they passed by. A huge crowd gathered at the mall to see the Queen for the final time. Image, Getty. The veteran of Sevenoaks, Kent, said, "To the current generation TikToking is putting videos on social media, but to soldiers of my generation it is what we call marching out of step. They were perfect? A magnificent job they can be proud of. It was very moving to see the Queen go by, a sight I'll never forget." On the mall, 4 sisters originally from Consett, Co-Durham, slept out overnight. Tracy Chapman, 56, Wendy Frost, 61, Cynthia Eiley, 68, and Christine Martin, 67, from Leicester made friends with others determined to secure front-row places. Tracy said, "It was beautiful, fabulous. We all sang the national anthem and cried as Her Majesty's coffin came by. It was a chance for us all to say a last goodbye to her. We're very glad we came to do it." Businessman Dan Hartshorn, 32, and his wife Leanne, 32, camped out with their children Maisie, 10, Ella, 8, Nancy, 4, Violet, 2, and their friend Isla Drake, 7. They were joined by his dad Martin, 61, Isla's mum Julie, 38, dad Kevin, 42, and Auntie Sarah Ailes, 41. Julie said, "We had a hotel room booked. But it was getting really busy even on Sunday night, and the stewards warned us that if we left we might have trouble getting back. So in the end we made up some beds here with bin bags to keep any water out and blankets.